A frightening and mysterious illness is affecting some chronic marijuana users.
It's being called CHS. Fox's Haley Rush joins us now in the studio to explain what that means and why the condition is puzzling doctors just as much as patients. Good morning, Haley.
Good morning. Well, that syndrome is linked to regular long-term marijuana use, but only in certain people. And doctors aren't sure who is really at risk of developing these symptoms, which can include uncontrollable vomiting, sometimes for days, as well as extreme stomach pain.
About 10 years ago, Dennis Morgan says it first hit.
Extreme nausea, a lot of stomach cramps, headache, and bottom line is there's no relief from it. You can't get any relief.
It wasn't until his first time in the ER when he says he was diagnosed with Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, or CHS. The syndrome is linked to chronic marijuana use, and Morgan says he's been smoking pot for decades.
If you get hit with this, it'll be an experience you'll never forget.
There is so much about this condition that we still do not know, and I think there's considerable scientific research work left to be done.
Dr. Matt Noble is an emergency physician at OHSU and toxicologist at the Oregon Poison Center. He says while the syndrome is uncommon, he does believe it's happening more.
How many cases are we seeing of cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome? The shorter answer is we really don't know. I think it's important to remember that historically this has been a difficult entity to study. And there's resistance, I think, among cannabis users to potentially acknowledge the role that cannabis may be playing in their symptoms.
And what that role exactly is, Noble says doctors aren't quite sure yet. But there are a number of theories, one being that the concentration of THC in marijuana has gone up in recent years, and that could play some part.
It's a horrifically debilitating clinical syndrome, one that I wouldn't wish on anyone.
For Morgan, he says cutting back on smoking has helped.
You never know when it's going to hit you. My last episode was in July of last year. It's usually a 12-hour ride. I went 2 days. Knock on wood, it's not going to come bite me again.
Dr. Noble says if you want to truly relieve your symptoms, you should stop smoking pot for good. What's also interesting with this syndrome, heat seems to give patients temporary relief. A lot of times when someone says they smoke pot and can only find relief with a hot shower or bath, that's a good indication for doctors that it could be CHS. Reporting live in studio, Haley Rush, Good Day, Oregon.
Very interesting. Might be the answer for a lot of people who feel sick and don't know why.
Right.
Thank you, Haley, very much.